Did you know that your body might be full of surprises you didn't expect? And if you're a guy, your body might have some even stranger quirks up its sleeve. Let's dive into the male body, where some bizarre, fascinating, and downright surprising facts await. Trust me, it's going to be as weird as it is fascinating. Get ready to have your mind blown by the weird and wonderful ways our bodies work. Number 1, men's brains are 10% larger than women's. Ah yes, the classic men's brains are 10% larger than women's statement. True, if you look at raw numbers, men's brains are often physically bigger. But does that mean they're better? Not really. Studies show that brain size doesn't necessarily correlate with intelligence. Women and men have more similarities than differences when it comes to cognitive abilities. In fact, women's brains are often more efficient and better connected in some areas, particularly for multitasking. So while men might have that extra 10% of brain mass, it doesn't come with a super genius upgrade or anything. Number 2, colorblind more often. Men being more commonly colorblind than women is all about genetics. Color blindness, or color vision deficiency, is usually passed down through the X chromosome. Since women have 2 X chromosomes, even if one carries the gene for color blindness, the other might make up for it. Men, on the other hand, only have 1 X chromosome, so if their X carries the colorblind gene, they're stuck seeing the world in fewer shades. This is why around 8% of men have some form of color blindness, compared to less than 1% of women. Number 3, men blink less than women. It's an interesting observation that men blink less than women, and it turns out there's some science to back it up. On average, studies suggest that men blink about 15 to 20 times per minute, while women blink about 22 to 30 times per minute. One theory is that this blinking disparity is linked to hormonal differences. Estrogen, which is more prevalent in women, might play a role in increasing blink rate. Another possibility is related to attentiveness and cognitive load. Research shows that when people are more focused or engaged in a task, they blink less. Men might have a different cognitive engagement pattern compared to women, though this is still a topic of ongoing research. Overall, while the blinking rate difference is a curious fact, it's just one of many small ways our bodies differ. Number 4, sneezing is more intense. While there isn't any solid scientific proof that men sneeze more intensely than women, it's true that many people have noticed men tend to unleash epic sneezes, compared to their quieter female counterparts. Part of the reason could be that men typically have larger lung capacity and stronger diaphragm muscles, so when they sneeze, it's like a mini explosion. Women, on the other hand, may sometimes suppress their sneezes a bit more out of politeness or habit, making them seem more delicate in comparison. But to be real, sneezing intensity is more about individual body mechanics, muscle strength, and technique than it is about gender. So while men might seem like they're having a dramatic sneeze-off, it's not entirely a guy thing. Number 5, men produce milk. The idea that men produce milk might sound like the setup to a wild science fiction plot or a quirky trivia fact, but it's actually rooted in some interesting biological facts. While men don't typically produce milk in the same way that women do, they do have the basic machinery for milk production. Men have mammary glands, the same as women, but they're usually dormant. These glands can produce a small amount of milk if stimulated by certain hormonal changes or medical conditions. For instance, a condition called gynecomastia can cause swelling and tenderness in the breast tissue of men, and in rare cases, men might produce a small amount of milk. In essence, while it's not common, men have the biological capability to produce milk. It's just one of those quirky things that remind us how complex and fascinating human biology can be. Number 6. Men's skin ages slower. So here's the thing, it's true to some extent, but not because men have some secret youth-preserving superpower. It's more about biology, thanks science, and lifestyle differences. First off, men's skin is typically thicker than women's, about 25% thicker to be exact. This thicker skin has more collagen and elastin, which are the proteins that help keep your skin looking youthful and firm. On top of that, men's skin tends to produce more oil, thanks to higher testosterone levels, which can help keep skin moisturized longer. This natural lubrication acts like nature's anti-aging cream, keeping that youthful glow going a little longer. But, and this is a big but, just because men's skin might age a bit slower doesn't mean they're off the hook. Stress, sun exposure, smoking, bad diet, or just not taking care of the skin can speed things up pretty fast. So yeah, while men might have a little biological edge, taking care of your skin is still the key to looking fresh. Number 7. Men have a smaller pain threshold when it comes to cold. Scientifically speaking, men actually do have a lower pain threshold when it comes to cold temperatures. Studies have shown that women tend to handle cold better because of their higher body fat percentage, which provides a bit more insulation. Men, on the other hand, have less subcutaneous fat, and maybe less patience, so they feel the cold more intensely. Plus, estrogen in women plays a role in increasing their tolerance to cold pain. So when a guy complains about being cold, it's not just an excuse to skip shoveling snow, it's science. Number 8. Men have a stronger sense of direction. Science actually does back up the idea that men might have a slightly better sense of direction, might being the key word here. Studies suggest that men tend to rely more on spatial navigation, using landmarks and directions like north, south, east, west, while women are more likely to use memory-based strategies, like remembering specific landmarks. However, this doesn't mean men are natural-born navigators. It just means their brains approach the problem differently. One study, for instance, found that men tend to take shortcuts, while women prefer sticking to well-known routes. So yeah, while some research points to men having a slight edge in spatial tasks, the real truth is everyone gets lost sometimes. Number 9. Men are more likely to snore. So why do guys tend to be the snoring champions? It's mostly because men are more prone to having larger necks and airways, and a lot of snoring comes from, well, vibrations in those airways. Testosterone also plays a role, as it can influence muscle tone in the throat and nasal passages, making men more likely to get those nighttime concerts going. Women aren't off the hook completely though, they snore too, especially as they age. But yeah, the snooze symphony usually hits louder on the men's side. Thanks for watching, see you next time.